Hello, everybody. This is Justin from Breakout Capital Ventures. Back again with part two of the weekend podcast. Going to start with copper. And this one here, we've got a blue box up here at 6.18 up to $7. And as you can see, we've had sort of a bit of a big spike down there, didn't we? Goodness me. And then we've had another one on Friday. But to me, this one's still bullish. That's an active target up there. So I think that's where copper's going to be heading. I don't think they can do much about that. So for me, I think it's just playing around with the traders. But, I think that copper, for me, is still bullish and heading 6.18 to $7. Next one I'm going to do is silver and just get this up. This one here. And for me, this is broken all-time highs. I said it last week or the week before that it's going to break all-time highs. It has, for me now we are, and I'll just pop to the weekly. It's broken this prior high. We've held above it, which is great. So it's not a fake out. It's definitely for real. So for me, I'm going to this blue box here. I think we can head into $61, up to $74, up to $91. I think that's where it's going to head. I think we're going to see $100, maybe higher than that. If you compare it with gold, but I think I posted that on Twitter or X as it is now. I think that's where it's going to be headed. It's really exciting. It's multi-years. Decades have been held back and it's unleashed. This is going to go berserk. So that move definitely isn't over. There's plenty more upside in silver over the coming weeks and months, fingers crossed. So where's that lead me? That's going to lead me to GSCU, Great Southern Copper. Because this one, to me, I think this is great. It's one I hold. We gave that blue box reversal zone at 2.3 down to 1.69, which is correct. We've had a break to the upside, and we sort of had an absolutely fantastic candle on Friday, hitting sort of 3.5 pence. And for me, I think it's inevitable. As long as a company brings out good news, we're going to break this prior high here at 5.2, and that's going to activate this red box zone here at 6.1, hopefully up to 7.3, and then hopefully to 8.8. But I think what's really interesting is, that is then smashed the all-time highs. There's nothing to stop it. There's absolutely nothing to stop it. So as long as the news is good out of the company, and if you look on their X page or Twitter as it used to be, they've got a second rig running. The second rig. I mean, they're drilling away, 2 rigs on site. They've just recently done a comparison between sort of them and did an on-site visit of another massive mine in Chile. Yeah. To me, it looks really exciting. Want to do some research on it and see what's going on there. Iron is my next one, and this one we called spot on, didn't we? We covered that off the other week, and I said that I'd loaded up in that red box zone there at 0.0365, and the target there was 0.665 up to 0.7, which it hit. It hit that massive spike, massive sell-off, massive sell-off. But I suppose that's to be expected. You had a lot of stale balls in there. But, for me, I think that's a reasonable entry. I don't have a blue box reversal, but I think that's a reasonable pullback. And where do I think that's heading? Well, it only really needs to hold breaking above 0.06. And I think that's going to activate, which should be a red box. I'll put it as blue. I think we'll be heading up to 0.087, up to 0.1p, basically. So that's a potential bagger for iron and possibly higher. If they give out good news, who knows? But worth doing some research on that one. Ren X is my next one, and this one it's recently capitalized at I can't remember what it was, 9p, something around there. We're doing research on that one. But it's in a sort of a long-term reversal zone down here at 21.1 or down to 7.64. Sort of fell below that. But, for me, it's capitalized. There's massive TR1 holders in that. It's worth having a look at how many TR1 holders. Now I've got this red box zone here at 16.6 up to 18.9 to 21.8. If it breaks the hold above sort of 11 pence, which I think it's inevitable it's going to do that, to be honest. But we've sort of filled that gap there. But, for me, I think 21.1, that's going to be the top of that blue box there. I think that's probably where it's going to head. I think that's the initial target on that one. Red X, I think that's looking pretty good for a reversal to the upside. And obviously recently capitalized, which is great news. So you're going to get in roughly around the placing price. Brilliant. Next one I'm going to do is WSG. And I covered this sign off last week. But to me, I think that's around the bottom. I think that's a great entry. It could drop down to 1.34, down to 1p, but I don't think it's going to get there. It looks like a perfect correction to me. But what do I know? I think that breaking a hold above sort of 2.75 level, I think you're bringing us up to 3.54 to 4.08, and possibly this red box zone here at 4.24 to 5.15. If we sort of break a hold above that, it should activate that upper red box. So potentially one or two bags in WSG. And if you do research on that one back in July, they stated that they're entering into this sort of defence. They've got massive contacts already, and 4 months have sort of passed. I think we're edging towards a contract news. That's what I think. We'll wait and see what happens, see what comes out of the company. But I think we're going to get news on that before the end of the year, and I think that one's going to go berserk and go into that upper red box. We'll wait and see. COR is my next one, and this one here is a tiny market cap. It's I think 700,000. We've covered off before. And what have I got? I've got a red box here. I think, if we can break and hold above sort of 0.033 and a quarter pence, I think he's heading up to 0.0416 up to 0.05, basically on 0.06. But what do I like about it? Well, it's £700,000 market cap. If they can drop some, I think it's going to be an RTO, something like that. And if they can drop some great news, a bit like Defence Holdings did, I think at 20 bagged. So it's high risk, but there's potential an awful lot of reward on offer. And just look at that gap. I mean, where is it? There's a gap all the way up there to 0.56 pence. So I'm not saying it's going to go there, but it's not outside the realms of possibility from a £700,000 market cap company. It's worth doing some research on that one. MKA is my next one, and chart. Well, most of these are chart requests actually. But what have I got here? Well, I think we're going to be heading up to 63 to 71.8 and possibly 83 pence of that one. I think that's nailed on. And if I flip to the weekly, there's not a lot here for me to get excited about, I suppose. But I'm going to flip over to the TSX listing. And, you need to do this with any of these dual listed companies. And, where do I see that headed? Well, 1 week, a 2.72, or the high is almost 3 cents, isn't it? So that's potentially a bag and a half from where it is now over on the TSX. And that's, to me, probably where that's heading. That move isn't done. There's definitely more upside in it. The UK listing doesn't have as much traded data. So for me, I think this is part of a wave 3. And, it could go anywhere. As I say, from the UK listing, it's definitely got more upside, and I think from the TSX, I think this is the chart you need to follow, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see sort of all-time highs, or the previous highs set back in 2011. Goodness me! So sort of 15 years later, we're coming to take those highs out. So yeah, very good. MKA looking pretty good. Next one I'm going to do is Avacta. Goodness me, haven't we did really well with this one, didn't we? We called that lows down here at 27.95, and said that we thought we were going to be heading up to the 73.8 to 86.8, and it has indeed, absolutely bang on the money. So where does it go now? Well, for me, I think that maybe that move is done for now. But if we could just get a bit of a pullback, sort of a 1, 2, 3, and then we can head higher again. So, if I go to my weekly chart, I think if I've got a bigger targets here. I think that, if a factor can drop some great news, which, evidently, according to all the posters on it, there's much more research than me. If it is as good as they say, it's cure for cancer, or hopefully make things better. It's 303 up to 379, but I'm going to flip to my monthly because I've got a different target on that. I've got 409 up to 513 pence. Which obviously that's a monthly chart. It's a much longer, it's not going to happen in a week or 2 weeks. They obviously need to drop news, but it's in this long term reversal zone down here from sort of November 2010. So it's been ranging for a decade and a half, basically. So, so if they drop great news, we've also got that 409, 513 pence. It could go much higher. It could be taking out the highs again at sort of 676, something like that. So, but short term, as I say, I'm just looking for a little pullback there. and then hopefully we can lock and load again for another ride to the upside. KDNC is my next one, and we covered this one. We did an Alan Green podcast. It looks very good to me. I've got a blue box sort of reversal zone, which is sort of hit there within my blue box reversal zone to 3.79 down to 3.45. And, where the thing I said, I think, as long as we can hold above sort of 3 pence, which I think it should do, then, break and hold above this 5.5 pence level should bring us up to 8.14 to 9.52, and possibly even to this red box here at 10.15 up to 12.55. I think it's probably more realistic where it's heading. So I think there's plenty of news due with the research worth listening to the podcast. It tells you all about it. There you go. HMI is my next one, and this one I haven't covered off for years or a long time. And it's a chart request. What are we going to say? Well, do you know what? It's just in an awful decline. It's fallen out of my blue box reversal zone. So it needs to get back up to that 0.9 pence. You should fall back from here, but you definitely need to do your research with that one. For me, it's not performed very well at all. So, do your research on that one. Next one I'm going to do is GGP, and let's get Greatland Gold, and just get that one up. Take the UK listed. That was one way we said that we thought we were going to be heading up to this 395. 0.6 up to 447, which we have. Now, it's a bit of a tricky one. I think it kind of looks like that move might be done, but gold's still ripping higher. I'm expecting gold to probably go to 4,200 at least. So where do I think that's headed? Well, as long as we can keep that sort of trend line going up, then it could well be that this move's going to continue up, and probably we're going to tag this 493.25 up to 564, so £5, which would be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it? So that's all I can say is just watch out, see what happens in this blue box zone first. Next one I'm going to do is HOC, and I haven't covered this one for ages, but this one here is absolutely done spot on as to I thought it was going to go to that 351, 382, which is shot above it. Just see what I've got on the weekly, but we could be sort of going up to sort of 483. I don't think that move's done. Probably a bit more upside in that one. But it's sort of all-time highs there, sort of 500 pence. That'd be great, wouldn't it, if you can get to there? And I don't see why that, sort of the longer term why that can't happen. But there we go. Short term, probably want a bit more of a corrective move myself, but still looks pretty good. There we go. Next one I'm going to do is KFEFI, and this one here, that was in that blue box reversal zone we gave down there. It's 0.9 down to 0.484, which was spot on yet again. I mean, these are all working out, aren't they? Very rare they don't work out. So where to see that heading? Well, I just flip to the weekly. This is a really tricky one. I mean, this move isn't done. There's more upside in this one, in my opinion. So where's it going to head? Well, I would like to see it head towards 2.92 up to 3.6. It's not an active target. That's the reason why it's a red box. A blue box is active targets. But that's probably where I'd like to see that one going. But, for me, short term, that move doesn't look like it's over. I think there's more upside, but, it'd probably have a bit of a corrective play then, but hopefully go again. So that's KEFI. CTAI is my next one, and just get that one up. And this is one where we gave all these different lines. I don't normally do that, but that's how traders are working. You sort of hit that 0.618 fib. So it needs to hold this 4.66. It holds above that, then it take out that other high at 0.63. Should take you up to 0.75, and then hopefully onto all-time highs at 0.9 pence. So that's CTAI. That's all I can say. CI is my next one, and just get that one up. Right, this is in a blue box reversal zone here at 1.6. It's down to minus figures, just the way I do my calculations. So where do I see that I'm headed? Well, I think that, if you can, my first point of call really on that one would be 1.61. That's still a bagger from where it is at the moment. But, if breaking a hold above that, should really bring it up to 3 pence to 3.68. So there you go. Want to do your research on. Next one I'm going to do is CYK, and just get that one up. And this one here, I don't know what's happened with that one there. But, it was in a blue box reversal down here at 2 pence, which, it's worked spot on. I'm assuming that's some sort of consolidation in share price. But, it's obviously a chart request. Where do I think that's going? I've got no idea. I need more trading data on that to really give any sort of indication of where that's going. So remind me again in a few weeks' time. VZT is my next one. And this one here, is, that's still looks to me like there's more upside in that one, and probably you're going to head to the top of that blue box there at 0.134. Let's just see whether I've got another blue box. Oh, sorry, red box. It could continue up from there. So as I say, that move isn't over. See what happens. You probably get a bit of resistance, 0.134. But if that can continue up, break above and a hold above that, we could probably activate this red box up here at 0.266, up to 0.332, up to 0.418. Goodness me, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, I think it's got an absolutely massive asset. You need to do research on that one. But BZC could be quite an interesting one. I'd like to see a bit of a pullback personally to get an entry, but, worth doing research. AMRQ is my last one for today, and a late request come in. And this one here, a bit of a big cap, so it's really not up my street. But we gave this blue box reversal zone at 68.5, which worked out perfectly well. We had another blue box there, 73.72 to 67.2, which you fell just slightly outside. We've got a rise in RSI, which is great. So where do I see that headed? Well, for me, if you could break and hold above 121 pence, that should bring you into this red box zone here at 134.06 up to 151.8 and possibly 174.38 pence. So that is AMRQ, and that is me for this weekend. Have a great weekend all. I'll be back again next week with an Alan Green special.